Hello, it's Ruby, and today I'm going to be sharing 10 ideas of things you can do when you're bored, which are bookish. All of these things are with introverts in mind, because when we think of relaxation, when we think of free time activities, they do tend to be social things, and it's just not as acceptable to decide to do something by yourself for leisure. If you like reading, these are 10 things you might want to do this summer. So first of all is to go through your favourite quotes that you've saved from books and write them all down. If you're anything like me, there will be so many quotes that you've read, that you've saved, that you've got screenshotted, that you want to come back to and you mean to come back to, but you just don't, and they sit there and you don't reread them. So instead, write them up on tiny scraps of paper and then you can stick them up on your wall. As you can see, I've stuck mine up just above my bed, which means I can look at them before I go to bed, and I really want to add to this more. Now, I'm sure you have seen the Pride and Prejudice film with Keira Knightley and the iconic, wonderful first scene where she is walking through the fields in the morning reading. I would encourage you to do just this. Wear a beautiful long dress and take a book outside on a morning walk. Number 3 is to learn a new poem and be able to recite it, so learn this poem by heart. As you can see, the day that I decided to do this, it was raining. This is actually a very good rainy day activity, and I would recommend you going outside to do this. First of all, you'll want to choose a poem that you like enough and which resonates enough that you would want to commit it to memory. And I do find that when you learn a poem, it gives it a new meaning almost, because you know it so well that you can really just focus on the meaning of the poem. So here is me going through my anthology of river poems and looking for one that I like enough to learn.
Like little crossbows animate the planning of shavings of crystal spray and moorhen darted out.
And this is the poem I ended up going for. I found it, I loved it, and I knew as soon as I finished it that this would be the one.
These last things hold my gaze.
And then it was just a case of reading the poem aloud to myself many, many times and trying to see how long I could go without looking at the paper. Here is the final stanza.
Closed were the kingcups, and the mead dripped in monotonous green, though the day's morning sheen had shown it golden and honeybead. Closed were the kingcups, and the mead dripped in monotonous green.
I've never learned a Thomas Hardy poem, so it's nice to have one up here. But the trick now is practicing it, because I won't remember this next week if I don't keep on saying it to myself. The fourth thing is to sort your bookshelves. My bookshelves have needed a sort out for a while, and I have really been putting it off. This one definitely needs the most work, so we're going to start with this one. Now, this is actually such a fun thing to do as well. You could even completely reorganize them and change your system. I just tidied mine up today though, because I really like the system I've got going at the moment. Okay, I'm going to pop these books downstairs in the library, and I'm also going to put this with the cookbooks. But my bookshelves are looking so much better, like especially this one. I also want to add this as a decoration. Number 5 is another way to collect some pieces of writing that you've been enjoying recently, and this is to make a tiny poetry anthology and to sew this together. So I went through and just hand wrote some poems that I've recently found and loved, and I also went through this anthology of seasons poems, and specifically poems around summer, because I wanted my anthology to be a collection of poems about summer. So just go through, find some poems you like, and this is a way to keep them all together, and it's also just a really nice object to have. And it's such a good size that you could put it in your pocket. You could also keep it in your bag, and then if you ever want to read some poetry when you're on the go, you can use this. Number 6 is to, of course, reread some of your favourite books. This is such a great thing to do over the summer, and it's honestly like my go-to activity. If I want to recharge, if I want to relax, reading is the best thing, and there is something so wonderfully comforting about returning to a book that you really loved. If you keep page flags in your book, you can go back to these passages, or you might just want to reread a section. Then number 7 is to write a letter to somebody, sharing some book recommendations with them, or to write a letter to one of your favourite authors, and just to write this up really nicely. It makes you feel like you're in a book, honestly. Number 8 is to make bookmarks, and specifically to make bookmarks for people. So today I was making a bookmark for my friend Andrea. I know that she recently read and loved the A Good Girl's Guide to Murder series by Holly Jackson, so I wanted to make her a bookmark which reflected this. Said this before, but one of the big misconceptions when it comes to introverts is that they don't like spending time with people and that they don't appreciate their friends, etc. But just because you get socially drained doesn't mean you can't do something like this to show them that you're thinking of them. And here are some bookmarks actually that my friends have sent to me in the past. My pen pals will send these, and I specifically love this one on top, which is just absolutely beautiful. Then number 9 is to paint one of the book covers that you don't really like. This is a really fun craft to do, and you can get really creative with it. And there are loads of tutorials online of how you can do this and different ways you can do it, so I would really recommend you taking a look at that. Today I just repainted the cover of my Les Marie de France. And finally, number 10, this one is so much fun. So there are so many wonderful foods and meals and recipes that I've seen in books. Things like the raspberry cordial in Anne of Green Gables, or the potato peel pie in the Potato Peel Pie Society. So you could go through and make a little recipe book of some literary recipes that you'd like to try. So I made mine on Canva, and I just used a template and then went through, found recipes, added pictures, and also some quotes from the books, like the pieces of food writing where these things were described. And this is the finished product. I then just got it printed with Doxy, which is a really easy printing website, and it's actually ended up being so lovely. I really like it, and I ended up putting in all of my favourite baking recipes. It's a really fun thing, and you could even print enough to send to people as well. But anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you liked it, and I hope that you have a productive week. More than just a productive week.